bad.
Jerry won't be here.
Huh?
Jerry won't be here.
We won't?
No. I think they're on a cruise.
Huh?
I think they're on a cruise for them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The second day we went to the beach, it was hotter than the first day we were there. We went Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday was warm, but it was really nice breeze. Thursday, it was just hot breeze. We got to water a lot. The jellyfish, I didn't see any water at all anywhere. We didn't go up on the pier and walk out, and that's usually where you're gonna see it. Oh, the jellyfish, especially like at night.
Being washed.
Yes. Actually, it's gonna be on YouTube, so. So, oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's a, I think it's a time. And so, Big Tuna and, Bills,
Maybe.
it rained when the next morning, they were everywhere. Right. And then on the tide. That looks like you.
What?
Not singing.
It says Bill on the back. I don't care as long as the seat's comfortable.
I think those chairs are pretty nice.
They are. I'd hate to get used to it too much. I'd be sitting in it all the time.
Oh darn, I got a meeting tomorrow. Oh, I know. I get bruises. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's just the way surprise, surprise.
Bless us with your presence,
Yep.
huh?
Just looking at vehicles for
Yeah? You hunting for one?
I'm trying to find a Jeep Wrangler.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, I got a good one I'll sell you.
I got a red one sitting in my backyard.
The Wrangler?
My son's, he gets home from work one night and he doesn't drive it to work. He just drives it as a toy kind of thing. He looked at it and he said, something's wrong with the gas tank. The straps broke and the gas tank had fallen down and was resting on the exhaust pipe, which melted into the plastic gas tank. How that thing didn't blow up and burst into a ball of flames, I don't know.
But it's not funny.
So I said, you're not driving that, are you? And he said, oh God, no. And, well, they were moving and they were living in a house. They rented a house in Avon. They bought one in Plainfield. I said, come over to the house, get my car home, take it over there, and fire it up and drive it up on there and shut it right off. Then when you get home, just park it on the hill so you can coast it off. So that's what they did. So it's still sitting there waiting on him to put a fuel tank on it and straps.
So Joel had a '98 Grand Cherokee, and he ended up giving it to my son Michael. And it's 230-some thousand miles.
Been around the block a time or two.
Yeah, so he took it down to Mike's Swingo, and Mike put two straps because on the gas tank because it had rusted.
Did I understand Royland matters been postponed until July
Yes.
25th?
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
News to me.
We never knew.
So it's for Virginia, a campground
Yeah.
and an event facility. And he is to advertise for the disc golf. I knew he was already doing it, but so the variances he wants is for a campground. Well, he has to get a variance for that also. So that's the reason why he wanted him to do it all at one time. And so, did you receive the letter to begin with? But it didn't specify. So the next letter should have all three things on it.
Hi, John.
Three things.
How are you, Gordon?
Two, what's the third? At the golf.
The disc golf.
The disc golf, because he. Rule event, it says rule event. Well, he wants to hold, weddings.
All right.
So.
Well,
Oh, I guess it wasn't news to me. It is on there in red there. I didn't notice that.
We're across the street.
Okay. So, why he was.
He's not bothering us.
Everything has to be first.
Yeah, I understand it, so we're just gonna. We only just say that that's the only matter. Our neighborhood. Thank you.
Gary gonna be here?
Terry is on a cruise.
Oh. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
thank you, Ron.
You guys been busy in the office? Have you? Where'd you go on vacation? Oh, well, good for you. How was it? Yeah? Just
Weather, good food, great architecture, walkable city.
just hung out and,
Went to the beach a couple days, couple walking tours, self-guided art on thing.
yeah.
You know, go for the prohibition. We went to the museum, but it was so packed. So I was like, I'm not waiting. So we did go to the cemetery.
How are you, Fred? All right, we got hot mics already. Got hot mics already.
Stellar or anything?
About everything we ate.
You doing okay? Yeah.
We stopped our keto diet, so it was.
A what diet?
This is bread, rice, pasta, you know, we try to stay away from those.
Scrambled eggs and 2 pieces of bacon, and leftover homemade kind of Asian thing, and then tonight's gonna be fried fish if I go there.
Mark gonna be here tonight, as far as you
As
know?
far as I know, Jerry's the only one that was not gonna be here.
Okay.
It's just now 6:30 and he's usually finally over.
Folks, we'll get started here in a little bit, but if you want to speak tonight, you need to make sure that you sign up over on the tables on the right-hand side over here. That's how we're going to call you up to speak. Otherwise, if you're not signed up to speak, you'll not be afforded an opportunity to speak. So if you think you want to, make sure you sign up.
Oh, good.
Bill, how about yourself?
No complaints.
Good. Fred, there's minutes in there for you to sign.
Looking for something sweet all day. I think this is the week I'm gonna run off with your wife.
Next week?
This week.
Oh, this week.
I'll check on my bride when I get home, and supposed to not be super hot. Just got the horses reshod, so everything's ready to go.
Bottle was so full, you can't hardly grab them after you take the lid off. Mr. Mark?
All right, you guys all set?
All set.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and call the June 27th, 2022 Morgan County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. We do have a quorum this evening, although one member is not here with us this evening. Mr. Rumbaugh, would you mind leading us all in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Rumbaugh. Copies of the minutes were sent out to us from our last meeting. Were there any changes, corrections, additions, deletions to those minutes?
Good to me.
Open for a motion to accept the minutes.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from previous meeting.
Thank you. Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. A copy of the agenda was sent out to us in advance of tonight's meeting as well. Are there any changes, corrections, additions to the agenda? No? Open for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Second to that motion?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The agenda is approved. We always ask our board attorney, Mr. Peden, to swear in anyone who's going to speak. Thank you, Mr. Peden. All right, our first item under new business this evening is public hearing D-22-11. Brian and Melissa Bruner are requesting a development standard variance to reduce the minimum living area for a primary dwelling from 950 to 576 square feet. The property is located at 7576 West Archie Court in Baker Township and is zoned for agriculture. For this application, it looks like I have several people signed up to speak in support of and certainly on behalf of the applicants. Folks, when you come up, when I call you up, please come up to the podium. Always start out by giving us your name and your address. If you're the applicant, tell us why you've requested the variance and why the board should approve it. Detail is always good. If you're in support or in opposition to an application, we want to hear the same thing, your name and address and why you would support this petition. If somebody else has already said what you're going to say, you don't need to repeat it. And if I call you up and you feel at that point that you don't want to speak, you're welcome to say that you pass and I'll go on to the next person. So for this application, I have Melissa Bruner signed up first. Melissa, would you like to present your case, so to speak, to the board? Thank you.
Hi, my name's Melissa Bruner. Address is 7590 West Archie Court. 7576 is the property right next door to us. Our son, he's sitting over here, his name's Teton. He has Asperger's and ADHD. When the two properties came available, we decided we would purchase those in the hopes that, he would have his own place. We could get the two-car garage, which is 576 square feet, converted into a one-bedroom apartment type home for him, allow him to have some acreage so that we could do a few farm animals that he would like to have. He doesn't need a space bigger than this. This is truly what he needs. He needs help maintaining. He needs help with his finances. He needs help with all of these things in his life. So the idea here is just to provide him with a location that, would be beneficial to him, but also good for his parents, to be close to him, to help him with all these things that he needs help with. So in this square footage that he would have, which is 576 square feet, we would add a small front porch on the front as well. But he'll have one bedroom, a full kitchen, regular appliances, Washer and dryer would be stackable, a one-bedroom, and then a bathroom is what he would have. So we are building right next door. We've been through all the permit process for that. Everything, once it's done, will be cohesive with one another. The two properties are side by side. We have a court, we have one neighbor across the street. Our property's been appraised before it was built. No issues with our appraisal, and that was when his place was, deteriorating, holes in the ground, infested with mice and trash everywhere, and we had no issue with our appraisal. So in our opinion, getting this done in no way is going to affect the area, but more be beneficial.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions from the board members?
Will you have to put a septic system in?
There's already an existing septic system there. It was approved about 10, 12 years ago. The family previous was going to build a large 4-bedroom home on the property. They had dug a large hole, left it there. Yeah, so the septic system, brand new, is sitting there on the property and already approved. So, yeah.
Thank you.
More than sufficient for his house. We have city water there, so there's no issue. It's actually already at the garage, so we have no issue with that as well.
Other questions from the board members?
Vehicles.
Yes.
Ample parking for,
Absolutely, yes. There's a drive that goes all the way right next to the garage, and we had a portable, when we moved, Amish had built us a smaller barn, and we have it moved to the very end, so it's just a portable barn. But there's actually a gravel driveway, no issue at all for anybody to park there at all.
Are you,
when do you plan on starting this process?
Immediately.
Immediately?
Yeah, we actually started a little bit. What happened was we lived in Hendricks County. So we put our house on the market, and we started cleaning up the property. This was back in, I guess we hadn't even put our house on the market yet, but we started cleaning up the property back late fall. We purchased the property through the winter. We started doing some work to his place, cleaning it up, siding, windows. We started doing all this. Got ahead of ourselves, sold our house, then we ended up starting to build our house that we're building now, which is a house with a pole barn next to it. So then that's when they came out, the door got tagged, don't do any more work here, and we didn't intend to start out that way. It just, I'm being truthfully honest with you, it's just the way it happened. So here we are. If, our goal is to get it approved, and that's really what we hope that we can get done.
Would you, if there were any conditions put on the fact that it's for his use only, would that be a problem with you as opposed to renting it out later?
Yeah, absolutely. We just want it to be his. We would never rent this out to anybody. It's the long-term idea. We have our other children that are sitting here. They live with us. They'll be with us for a while. So this is just all cohesive for our family. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Not going to be turned into guest quarters or anything like that?
No guest quarters there at all, This is just for him.
Okay.
If there was ever, maybe for my mom type of thing, that would be at our house. It would never be at this property. This is a separate property with a separate septic system, separate address, separate everything.
Is that on well or city water down there?
City water. It's Washington Township water.
What I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
any other questions, gentlemen?
I have none.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'm probably going to mispronounce this. Is it Teton? Teton, you're signed up. Would you like to speak? Okay, all right. How about, is it Brian? Brian, did you get sworn in?
Yes, actually, I did not. I didn't think I was going to get up, but I will swear myself in. Sorry. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, sir. Hello, I'm Brian Bruner. I'm Teton's father. I just wanted to add to it. We're trying to, with Teton, he's got the Asperger's, as my wife said, and ADHD. We're trying to teach him to be independent with himself, but yet he can't stray too far. When the property came available, it was very ideal for us. so he could have his own separate space and still be close enough to us. And I just wanted to reiterate that because it's very important for our family dynamic. We have a daughter also that's 22 that's not here, that's doing very well. She graduated college in Florida this year, and she's living fine on her own. Teton's got a different situation. He has a full-time job, has held a job at Amazon for the last year and a half, basically making his own payments now for the electric and water, and we're just trying to help him out. So we just appreciate your guys' time tonight, and hopefully this can be approved. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Questions from the board members?
No.
Thank you. Bailey Bruner? Thank you. Braxton Bruner? Thank you. All right. So I have no one else signed up in opposition to or as an interested person. So we'll go into our public hearing for this. And this is an application for a development standard variance. And in order for the board to grant this, we have to agree that the applicant meets certain conditions for that. And I'll read what they've written here. Number one, proposed use variance. Current structure, 576 square feet to be converted into a one-bedroom home, which is less than a required 950 square feet. Under standards for evaluation 2.1, the applicant has noted that this is a true statement. This approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. Conversion of the structure has no negative effect on the community because it will be residential. Under 2.2, the applicant has indicated that statement is true and writes, the use and value of the property adjacent will not be adversely affected. What we plan to do will only increase the value of the property. This will be a one-bedroom home and maintained acreage. This will all have a positive effect on adjacent homes. And then lastly, under 2.3, the applicant has indicated that statement is true and writes, the current ordinance will not allow us to continue with what we have planned. We request the variance to allow us to move forward with our plan to convert the current structure on the property into a one-bedroom home, which meets the needs of our son, who wants to live independently, but still needs to be close to his parents. For the technical reports, the health department states they have no objections to the proposed development standard variance. The surveyor reviewed and made no comments. Staff's report on this and recommendation is the first and second findings of facts ask if the reduction of the minimum living area would disrupt the general welfare of the neighbors nor negatively affect property values. The new construction underway is for residential purposes, which was the original intention when the property was platted. And given the previous neglected condition of the property, this request should have a positive impact on the area. The third finding asks what unnecessary hardship is created by the 950 square foot requirement. In this case, the petitioners are attempting to repurpose an existing structure whose footprint is already big enough. Not everyone wants or needs a large house, and the BZA has the ability to accommodate those requests when appropriate. If or when the property changes hands in the future and a traditional size home is constructed on this lot, then the smaller living space could be considered an accessory dwelling unit without any changes. For these reasons, and because the petitioner has satisfied the findings of fact, staff recommends approval of the reduced square footage. Open for discussion.
Approving this would make me feel like sometimes we do things right. That's all I've got to say.
Gentlemen, any other discussion?
No. think it's for the, you know, be the best interest for everybody, really. It's kind of a win-win situation if it's acted through like it's proposed.
The only thing I would put in there is it only be used by their son for living next to the family, which wouldn't hurt them at all from what his mother said, and I believe her 100%.
Anything else, gentlemen? Yeah, I agree. It seems like the right thing to do under the circumstances. Melissa, very nice job presenting what it is you would like to do here and why we should consider this favorably. I would support this as well. Open for a motion?
I move that, get all my ducks in a row, that we approve docket number D-22-11. I move that we approve Brian and Melissa's petition D-2211 for Illinois standard to reduce the minimum area living primary residence from to 576 square feet on property located at 7576 West Archie Court in Baker Township, Morgan County. Reason for the following. Number 2.1, it is true this approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, and moral general welfare of the community because B, the reasons stated in the staff report. 2.2, it is true that if the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because B, the reasons stated in the staff report. And 2.3, it is true that the strict application of the terms of the UDO will constitute an unnecessary hardship applied to the property which the variance is sought because B, the reasons stated in the staff report. And the motion includes it only be used by the son for living with next to family only.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve with one condition attached to that approval. Do I have a second? Second from Fred. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye. Aye. It's approved. Thank you very much, folks.
So they don't have to stay for all the other excitement.
You don't have to stay. You're welcome to. Unfortunately, there's no meal at the end tonight. You're welcome.
There's no buffet after the dinner or anything, so. We've been waiting for years for Keith to bring it, he never has.
All right. Next item on the agenda, we have the public hearing SE 22-03 that's been continued to July 25th, as well as SE 22-04 continued to July 25th. The applicant in both those cases was Stephen Boylan. So the next item on the agenda is now D, public hearing D-22-09. And I'm going to mispronounce the first name, so Mr. Hawkins, if you could just tell me what your first name is and let me continue.
Kadarius Hoskins.
I'm sorry?
Kadarius Hoskins.
Kadarius, thank you. Kadarius Hoskins is requesting a development standard variance to reduce the front yard setback for a primary commercial building from 25 feet to 10 feet. The property is located at 2200 South State Road 67 in Ray Township and is zoned B1. And for this, I have only Mr. Hawkins signed up to speak. So, Mr. Hawkins.
Yes, my name is Kadarius Hoskins. My address is 9154 Cavalier Court. I am requesting a variance for a setback for 10 feet off a road frontage and a setback to cross property lines. Back in 2017, 2018, I bought a property for a car lot, and it seemed to be two parcels. We own this since then, been successful, been selling a bunch of cars. I'm requesting to build a building, a more newer shop, as you can say, onto the property. Back in 2020, I bought the property next to the property that I have now, which I'm going to combine all in one. And the property that I bought, it has a small house and has a older shop that is built there. And I guess it was built back in the 1940s, so it's very old. I've been dealing with a bunch of stuff trying to get this shop up and running, but it's costing me more money instead of just tearing it down and building something newer and making the community look better. So my goal here is to basically build me a better office space, better shop space. And the shop is not for anyone to come into, so it'd be for my use only. It actually saved me a lot of money because I'm really spending a lot of money taking my vehicles to other shops to have them fix on them. When my dad has been a mechanic his whole life, so he taught me how to work on cars and took me to school to learn how to do body work. And so to make things short, that's basically what I'm trying to do, is just to build a shop for me and my family.
Thank you. Questions, gentlemen?
You don't own the apartment next to your property though, right?
I own all of it.
You own the apartment next to it?
There's an apartment?
Well, a block house there.
Oh, yes, that's the property I was telling you about that I bought back in 2020. It's a small house and a shop right next to it. We got approved to do the demolition. We just been waiting on equipment to come out there so we can start tearing it down.
You'll take the house down?
I'm gonna take the house down.
That's one question I had.
It's going to do mechanical work there, or mechanical and
Yes.
body?
So it's basically, there are gonna be 3 bays. There's gonna be a bay for mechanical work, there's gonna be a bay for body shop work, and then there's gonna be a bay for my paint booth. All of which would not be used for the public at all. It'd just be for my cars only. So I'd normally do it outside of my house, but it's becoming harder, you know, because of the winter, and then sometimes it's hot and it rains, and sometimes I get to not being able to do it. So after we bought the property back in 2020, we've been planning on and working on getting this, a building built there, so we can make it all one and make the area, and I guess you can say, save us a lot of time and money from other shops.
Where will you be parking the vehicles that you're waiting to repair when you're waiting for parts like everybody else is now?
Smart. Yes, so that's the real reason why we're wanting to tear down that old building in that other house. That's the reason why we bought that, so we can have more land and more space. I was gonna put in a gate, because we've been having a lot of break-ins. So I was gonna put a gate around the property and then have access, so if someone wants to come and buy a car, we have a big enough gate to where we can pull the cars out and take them on test drives. And then, so where the old building is where I plan to leave the cars that need work done. And then for the cars that are done and that's ready to be sold, I plan to line them up directly this way. So if you're coming down 67, you'll see nice newer cars. And then on the back end side will be where all the...
How many cars do you figure that you could effectively,
That I can...
catchy word,
That I...
effectively park there?
That I can park there? I don't know. We got roughly about 40 cars right now. Probably 10 or 15 over is at that spot. I have about another 10, 15 parked in my yard at my house. So my girlfriend's not really liking that right now.
And your neighbors might not be either.
They're pretty cool. We got pretty cool neighbors. We own 5 acres out there by Spencer, so I'm just trying to get, once I get that going, I can start bringing cars back over and we can start getting things really done. I'm really trying to do this because I just had 2 children and I gotta really work my butt off now. Cause it's...
You own up to the old garage?
Yeah, so from
You don't
that,
own the old garage, you just own up to it.
No, I own past it as well.
You own clear up to the point?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
so.
I didn't
from that
realize
point-
that.
Yeah, from
Okay.
that point over. It's all gonna be one parcel is what we're planning on doing.
You're removing those old buildings and just gonna use that for parking then, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay.
And we was just gonna, either we was gonna blacktop it or we was just gonna gravel over it, depending on how much everything would cost around that time.
Now, let me ask you this, would you have any objections if we put a stipulation on it to build a privacy fence around it?
But yeah, that's fine. I mean, if the fence cannot be built, that's fine. We just wanted to build the fence for security reasons. I mean, we had a bunch of break-ins. We had people coming in there and lifting our cars up, taking our mufflers off.
I can understand that.
Cadillac converters, I started up my truck the other day and it sounded rough. So we have security cameras, we put them up, it don't work. We caught the guy red-handed and we called up the officer there, Brian. And Brian saw the video and he didn't even have to know the guy's name, he just detected the walk. And he went straight to the guy's house and found all my stuff. And a bunch of Cadillac converters and
That's now a felony. Makes it a little harder for them.
yeah, I guess the little limp, guy had a little limp walk, and Brian was like, all right, I'll see you in a second.
We know Brian.
So on this parcel here that you're gonna have an automotive repair business doing mechanical and body work.
Not for the public, though.
Okay, just for the cars that you're fixing up to sell. And then you're gonna have cars parked there for sale, correct? I just wanna make sure I understand this.
So, as we can see in the photo right here, this is where we're wanting to have the building. And we were gonna gravel the rest of this and use a parking spot for people that come in to look at the cars around this area.
Can you turn that so the other board members can see what you're showing there? Thank you.
And
You're
so
talking about the red
what we were
square.
planning on doing was lining up cars this way, as the building is right here. We were gonna line them up this way and over this way a little bit. And then this area will be a parking lot for people who will come to check the vehicles out. And then this back area will be for where the cars that still need work done will be at.
All right, so are you gonna have ample building space so that you don't have to leave car parts outside?
Oh, car parks will not be outside.
No hoods, no fenders,
hoods,
no
no fenders.
axles,
All of
no
them will be
motors
inside.
hanging from a tree?
Exactly, all of them will be for the inside.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
we
And-
wanted to make the place look as nice as possible and keep all the,
Are they on sanitary sewers there? Are you connected to, does the city have a sewer system in Perrigan?
Yeah,
You are.
yeah,
they have a sewer system.
I'm sure the house is, it was right there next door.
Yeah, I don't know.
All
I
right.
can't say for this particular piece of property if it is, but they do have sewer systems down there.
Okay, and you're aware that you can't dump chemicals, paints, solvents, any of those materials into the
Yes,
the
yes.
town sewer system?
yeah. I don't think we plan to dump anything. Just needed for, mechanical work and to paint.
Okay, all right. Okay. Any other questions from the board members?
I think it'd be an improvement on the corner.
Anybody, anything? All right, so we didn't have anyone else signed up in opposition, in support of, or as an interested party on this application as well. So at this point, we'll end our public meeting, go into public hearing. Am I getting that right? Is that the way it goes? Yeah, do I need to say that? All right. We're going to continue on then. How about that? All right, so this is, you can go ahead and have a seat.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. This is a request for a development standard variance. Again, similar to the first one we heard, the applicant has to meet several findings of facts. The first being the proposed use variance. Describe the proposed use of the property, type of use, hours of operations, access, necessary construction, employees, etc. And the applicant has written, my name is Kadarius Hoskins. I'm the owner of Hoskins Auto Connect LLC. My business is located at 220 South State Road 67 on 3 small lots wedged between State Road 67 and Union Street in Perrigan. I'm requesting 2 variances so that I can make improvements and build a new building at this location. The first request is for the front, asking to reduce setback to 10 feet. The reason you can see in the packet standards for evaluation. And then under 2.1, the applicant has marked that the statement is true and that the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community, and then writes, just taking down the 2 old buildings that falling apart, thank you, to build a better one. Under 2.2, it makes a statement, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The applicant notes that that's a true statement and writes, the new buildings would increase the value of my property and would make the area around me look cleaner and nice area to want to be around. Under 2.3, the statement is a strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and writes, I have both road frontage, which makes the setback difficult to build the 25 feet away from crosswalk. For the technical reports, the surveyor reviewed and made no comment. The health department states they have no objections to the proposed development standard variance. And for staff's report, they have written the following. Finding of fact number 2.1 asks if the reduction of the front yard setback would be injurious to the general welfare of the community. This use was approved in 2012 and some form of car sales has existed in that location since then. There have also been several buildings on the site that were all far less than 25 feet from the road. Small front yard setbacks can be found throughout the town of Perrigan. This is not an uncommon development pattern in small rural towns. Lot sizes are typically much smaller and compact, and that results in smaller front yard setbacks. The reduced setback would not be detrimental to the public's general welfare because there would still be separation from the street with enough clearance so that it would not obstruct vehicular movements on or adjacent to this property. Finding of fact 2.2 asks if property values would be negatively impacted by granting the variance to reduce the setback. As explained in the above finding, this use has existed here for some time, and the setback reduction would not be out of character for the area. Redevelopment of outdated sites normally result in improved property values for the area. Finding fact 2.3 asks what practical difficulties occur without the approval of the variance. In this case, the portion of the site best suited for the new building has 2 front yards. And if the petitioner were trying to build on the triangle-shaped lot, there would also be 2 front yards and even less lot area to work with. For these reasons, staff supports the petitioner's request to reduce the front yard setback on Union Street to 10 feet. Gentlemen, open for discussion. Thoughts, comments?
With the area, and it sounds logical.
I would like to see a provision in there for a privacy fence around the parts storage and where you're starting the old cars at. You know, one of the things we were doing here was trying to help clean that up a little bit down there. I think that would help a lot and help a lot of relations between the people who already live there and him as a whole.
It's easier to sell a car if it's cleaned up too.
Yeah, yeah. But at least around the perimeter, around where the parts and parts lots, storage of the parts and the cars that he's dismantling to make the cars.
I'm going to ask the applicant to come back up here and clarify something.
Okay.
If you would, sir. And I'm going to ask you to come up to the bench here. And I'm going to put this over here. So this building, this is the one, the northernmost building on the point of the property that you own. Is this building coming down?
Yes, it is.
Okay. The building behind it, the middle, or the second most northern building, is it coming down?
Yes, it is.
It is coming down. What is this structure?
That is a carport.
Okay, that's what I thought from looking at it.
Yeah, I have my trailer and a old truck parked there.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there. And then where the red square is here, or rectangle, that is where your proposed new building is going to be?
Correct.
Okay, all right. All right, that's all I had, unless anybody else has a question. I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that.
Show us again where your parts lot's gonna be at.
The parts,
The parts lot, where you
Parts
said
lot.
you're gonna have cars and stuff.
right around this area right here.
Okay.
And we're gonna have all the nicer cars in the front. So if we keep them more hidden in the back area,
Okay.
it should look a lot better.
All
And
right.
then this area would be more for the parking for the public.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that. All right, so I'm gonna jump out here out of turn, and I'm just talking here, just throwing this out. I don't want a fence along 67. I wouldn't want that. I think that would be an eyesore,
well,
and
I
I
think-
don't think
I
that's
think-
what you meant.
No,
Am I
no,
right?
where he's talking about, that's where, it's not gonna be along 67, it's gonna be the back off of it, and back off the other street.
I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that. So if he put a privacy fence that would extend to the,
I think what Fred
East.
wanted was just the cars that's gonna be coming into the garage. Here about where the house is gonna
Where
be.
he said he's gonna have the parts, the vehicle storage, that's where I'm concerned at,
So
right
you're-
there.
Stealing the stuff.
so you're talking about between his building out to some point here to the
Yep.
north,
Yep.
you would want a privacy fence.
Yep.
Not anything that's encircling his property,
No,
just something to kind of screen
Screen
the
One
parts
waiting to
cars.
come in,
the dismantled vehicles and stuff he's taking part of,
or waiting on parts or
waiting on whatever.
But he also spoke, he wants a fence around there, if I'm not mistaken. to
security.
Help keep,
security
yeah, the,
vehicle from being
Yeah,
robbed.
but I wouldn't want it, and I don't, maybe you're not suggesting that. I wouldn't want to make that a condition. I don't think that would be,
No,
that'd be
it
up
would
to
be-
him.
it would be up
you
to
know.
him. If he wanted to
felt
put
like
it
he
up-
needed it, then.
I disagree.
You
you
think
would definitely
he,
want a fence?
I definitely want it in there.
a privacy fence all the way around the property?
No, just where the cars.
chain
I'm
link
saying it,
fence.
John, where he's storing vehicles at, that's
Oh,
what,
around his,
storage area for his dismantled vehicles and his parts and stuff.
all right. Okay. All right, so if this goes, I'm in favor of it. And I would support this.
It's gonna clean up that whole area.
I
What he
agree
wants to do,
100%.
yeah.
It's a good, it's a
Yeah.
good thing for that area. I
Yeah.
agree with it. It's good. We've,
Can we
you know,
ask him where he'd
we've
put a
done a
fence up
couple
on
other
this here?
things down there in that area that's
him tell us
benefited
where he
quite
wants
well.
the fence.
But I think
Mr.
our
Hoskins,
obligation.
come on back up. Can you guys hear us out there? I know we're kind of talking amongst ourselves, but it's public, and we want to make sure you can hear us if you're
Right up
so
here.
inclined. And if you're struggling, walk up here, and, because sometimes it's a little hard to get the mics to pick it up.
Don't worry about that. Where's the fence go?
I would like to have a fence where this area is.
Mark it.
So maybe at night, whenever we leave to pack up, we can store all the cars and the wrecked cars in there. So we know for sure they're not being stripped at night.
I don't want to know who I am, so just leave it.
That's fine.
Did you see that, Fred, where he's showing that
That's
on
basically
there?
That's what he
that's all
wanted.
I'm stipulating.
Okay, all right.
I'm putting stipulation into it. And, because you know, I think it's got to be a privacy fence in there because we got to look at the benefit of the people of the city there too. We just don't need a
You
continuing
want a
situation.
see-through fence or a non-see-through fence?
Privacy,
Non-see-through fence.
Where
non-see-through
you can't
fence.
really see through it, and that way they maybe won't try to break in as much if they don't know what's in there.
Exactly.
Can you live with that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that'd save me a lot of money, a lot of windows being broken. I mean, people don't care if they see cameras, but I mean, if there's
You
a
can put a
fence.
privacy fence
Yeah,
up
if there's a
pretty
fence,
reasonable,
Ryan
too.
patrols that area like a hawk, so.
But it's, I agree. It doesn't have to be out to the road or
No,
anything like
okay.
that. It's the backyard, because I think it'd be a disadvantage if it was out there to him, not only for his people coming up, but he's got some
See the
vehicles he's
cars
gonna
for sale.
sell. They won't be able to see them.
I think we're good, thank
Yeah,
you.
and that's the reason why we were gonna tear down that house and things like that, so we can fit that area right there.
Thank you very much, appreciate that. All right. All right. Well, and just maybe to clarify, my concern is, for what he's proposing to do, he's gonna clean up that area. It's been an eyesore for God knows how many
Since
years.
1940.
Many years.
Gonna be a big
To me, a privacy fence isn't an attractive thing, and I think, you know, so I hesitate to make that a requirement. I understand your point, though, to shield cars that he may be pulling parts off of, that kind of thing, out of the neighbor's view, make it more, that would make it more attractive and probably be safer for him, although I'm not gonna impose safety things for him. He can make those choices, but, okay, I just wanted some clarity around it. All right.
I think it, you know, as I say, you know, it is to some people an eyesore when you have a privacy fence stuck up in there. To most people, and especially business owner, being one in the previous past, you want all the security you can get.
Yeah.
And then you've also got to look at the benefits you're setting in the city, even though it's a small locality area there, you know, you still got to be the benefit of looking out for the people there too.
Right. No, I agree. All right. Any other discussion?
I'm satisfied.
Fred? You good? Gordon?
Yeah, I'm great with it.
All right. Open for a
It's gonna be a
motion.
big improvement for the community and him too.
All right, well, open for a motion then.
Make a motion that we accept it. Are you gonna tie them both together?
Well, I didn't cover that one, so no, we're gonna hear them separately. I know that
Put your
dragged
stipulation
us
in
out a
on
little
what's
longer.
fenced.
Oh, wait, stipulation is that we do the privacy fence around where he's gonna have cars waiting to go in or parts taken off.
Okay, all right. And are you making this motion based on the findings of facts that the applicant presented to us this evening?
True.
Yeah.
BBB.
Approval injuries of public health and safety morals and general welfare of the community because of the reasons stated in petitioner's findings and facts and the reasons stated in the staff report.
Okay,
2-2 or 2.2 is true. The use of the value of the adjacent area and the property included in variance will not be affected by substantially adverse manner because of the reasons. A, the reason of the petitioner finding and facts. B, the reason stated in the staff report. 2-3 is true that the strict application of the terms of the UDO will constitute unnecessary hardship and apply to property to which the variance is sought because the reason of the state petitioner findings, A, a fact, B, the reason stated in the staff report. And then you want to put there at the bottom about the privacy fence over the.
Yeah. I would like to see you do that.
In the motion included additional requirements is to put some type of privacy fence around the cars waiting to come in the garage or parts you've had to take off and waiting on parts to return. Because it's hard to get some parts sometimes. I had a brother waiting 2 weeks to get medicine.
Mr. Hoskins, This isn't your time to speak, but thank you.
He's,
All right, so we have a motion to approve with a condition that the applicant construct a privacy fence only on the portion of the property where he's going to use it to store vehicles that he's removing parts from. Is that correct? Is that what everybody
Yes.
kind of are understanding and agreement to?
at
Okay.
least an 8-foot privacy fence.
All right. All right, so I have a motion with a condition. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second that motion.
Okay, take your pick. And all in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that is for D-22-09, and it's approved. So thank you. All right, so we're going to move right along into D-22-10. Again, Kadarius Hoskins is requesting a development standard variance to construct a commercial building across the center line of two adjoining lots. Property is located at 2200 South State Road 67 in Ray Township, and the building is zoned, and is zoned B1. The property is zoned B1. Again, for this application, I have Mr. Hoskins signed up. Mr. Hoskins, would you mind coming up to the podium and briefly explaining to the board why you're requesting this variance?
Hi, my name is Kadarius Hoskins. The reason we are asking for this variance is the same reason why we was asking for the setback for the 25 feet. We're trying to build a 40 by 60 pole barn, and which would give us a lot of space for office and 3 bays. And with doing that, it crosses the property lines, which is the 2 properties that's there. When I bought the property, I thought it was only 1, but it turns out it was 2 properties. And the reasons why that they're odd shape in the property line, so it makes it harder to not build across it for that property. Which in the back here, if you see the red building, it shows that it's just weirdly odd shape. And we own both properties, and like I said before in the last statement, we're planning on making it all one parcel.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Gentlemen, questions?
I have no questions.
No? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we have no one else signed to speak. Again, this is a request for a development standard variance. And the findings of facts that the applicant has to meet, and his response is as follows. It says, describe the proposed use of the property, and the applicant has written, second request is to be allowed to build the new building across property lines between lot number 1 and lot number 2. Also, you can find the reasoning and standards for evaluation 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. Under 2.1, the statement is the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. And the applicant states that's true and has written just taking down 2 old buildings to build a better one. Under 2.2, the statement is the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The applicant states or has indicated that's a true statement and writes the new building would increase the value of my property and make the area and house around me look cleaner. Under 2.3, the statement is a strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The applicant indicates that statement is true and has written the odd-shaped property line make it difficult to stay on one property. For the technical reports, the surveyor reviewed and made no comment. The health department states they have no objections to the proposed variance. Staff's report is finding of fact 2.1, ask if allowing the building to be constructed across the lot line would be injurious to the general welfare of the community. As with the previous request for the reduced front yard setback, building across the lot line would not be detrimental to the public's general welfare because the structure would appear to be sufficiently set back from the road frontage on State Road 67. Finding of fact 2.2 asks if property values will be adversely impacted if the petitioner is allowed to build across the lot line. As explained in the previous request, commercial structures on this site would not be out of character for the area, and the average citizen is unlikely to know that these are two separate lots. If the new structure is permitted to cross the lot line, it becomes the primary for both lots, and no additional building could be erected on either lot. Finding 2.3 asks what practical difficulties occur if the variance is not approved. The petitioner may be able to reduce the size of the building and/or reposition it so that it is all on one lot, but this would expose more of the commercial characteristics of the development to the adjoining residential use. When the building is placed parallel to the alley, the building itself serves as a buffer for the neighbor next door. For these reasons, staff supports the petitioner's request to build across the adjoining lot line as shown in the exhibit. Gentlemen, open for discussion.
Going to be an improvement. Definitely, because that's the first thing you see when you're headed south.
Yeah, I think it's a noteworthy and good call out, and thank you, Ms. Parker, for this. In the second paragraph, under finding of fact 2.2, it says it becomes the primary for both lots and no additional building could be erected on either lot. So that, he's cleaning up the lot. That's going to control further building on that lot, because if he wanted to go north on that, he'd be impeding traffic lines of sight for that intersection and that type of thing. So that's a great call out for that. Thank you for that.
I think that's a good call, what she put in there, in the finding of the facts about no other buildings and stuff being erected, permanent buildings of any type.
Yeah, again, I'd be in support of this one as well. Other discussion?
I have none.
Open for a motion?
I move that we approve Kadarius Hoskins petition D-22-10 for a developmental standard variance at 2200 South 60, State Route 67 in Perrigan, Ray Township, based on the following information on the 2.1, the finding of the facts that was presented, as well as the staff report. 2.2, that based on it, that we approve it, on the reasons on the staff report and the petition's finding of the facts, as well as stipulation in there also that there are no other buildings to be erected on a permanent structure in this lot in any way. 2.3, that is true, based on the finding of the facts and the reasons stated in the staff report.
Thank you. Have a motion to approve with no conditions. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that is approved as well. So good luck to you. All right. Next item on the agenda is public hearing D-22-12. Frank and Karen Tajera. Are requesting a development standard variance to reduce the side yard setback for construction of a detached garage. The property is located at 8221 McWhorter Road in Green Township and is zoned for ag. For this, I have 4 persons signed up in support of the application. Is that correct, everyone? No one in opposition and no one is an interested party. And I have Karen signed up first to speak, so Karen, if you would.
Hi, I'm Karen Tahira at 8221 McCorder Road, Martinsville. And we have requested this variance for the purpose of building a 30 by 40 pole barn garage or what have you on our property. And we are requesting the variant from the normal 15 feet side yard to a 7-foot access because we have our septic lines prohibit us from moving the building over into our yard farther because we have a finger system there that would interfere with building this. So that is why we were requesting the variance for the side. The back of the property is going to be at least 20 feet, so there is no issue on the back side where our property ends, where the back of the building would be.
Just on the left-hand side?
Yes,
there?
correct.
Okay.
Your neighbors on we've got a drawing here, I'm sure,
Yes.
or a aerial photograph, I'm sure you've seen this.
Yes,
The other parcel over here,
yes,
do you know those neighbors?
they're
Okay.
present.
All right, very good. They're
Yes,
signed
we-
up to speak, we'll
Yes,
get to
they-
them.
Yes, we've talked to them
So,
already.
would you mind stepping up here for just a
Sure.
second? I'm gonna put this over here so everybody can see it. So this is your house now, correct? And then this red circle here.
I didn't put that in there, but I guess that's where the building is supposed to go.
And it's
because
gonna be circular like that?
No,
No.
it's gonna be a-
Leave it right there.
I'm just kidding. No, that's fine.
No, it's going to be connected to our driveway, and it will be going that direction.
Just-
40 feet goes
Just,
there.
just straight into the from the driveway.
These are
Probably
two,
have a small pad, in between.
Okay.
these are two small barns you're gonna move?
These are the barns we're moving.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
Because originally we owned this property as well.
okay.
Okay, way back, we used to live on this
That
property.
clears it up, that's all right.
And
Yeah.
over the years, our son lived there, and then he passed away, and then we sold the house, and things got kind of screwy. So yes, these are going, that's actually our propane tank.
Okay.
So that's,
Okay.
we're actually gonna move that over just a little bit.
And
Or
where's,
have them do
The
it.
septic's back here.
As you can see, that's like where the grass died, that's where the last septic line, finger system line is. There's like 8 of them back here. I mean, there's
Okay.
a ton.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, so that's why we couldn't move it over into the yard more.
Right.
Because of that, it would interfere.
okay,
Okay?
all right,
Okay.
Thank you very much.
okay. Thank you. Gentlemen, any questions for Karen?
I have none.
When do you plan on propose starting this?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
I've got the building permit at home, and I'm getting ready as soon as we can, get this passed through. So I've already got my lumber package waiting at vendors for me, so.
Are you going to use this just for your own personal storage? It's not anything of a business or any type going to be used out of in any way?
No, no business. We have 2 teenage grandsons that live with us, and they have acquired many toys. Motorcycles, their own cars, all that stuff. So yes, it's just our own personal use.
Okay.
Anything else, gentlemen?
I have nothing.
No? Thank you.
Thanks.
Frank? I was kind of hoping you could come up so I could ask you the question if this is a place where you're going to be able to hide. Probably better to leave that one alone, isn't it? Just kidding. All right, thank you. And then I have Gary, and Gary is at Monday? Monday, thank you.
Gary Monday, live at 8225 McCorder Road, the neighbor in question. I can't see any objection, or I have no objection to that 7-foot variance. My understanding is just going to be an addition to their home. maybe even upgrade it. And if it's not going to be a business in any way, you know, I have no objection to it.
Okay. Gentlemen, any questions for Mr. Monday?
Which side do you live on? As you're facing their house from the road, which side do you live on? The
I'm
left
on
or the
the-
right? On the left.
It's facing the house, I'm on the
That
left.
shed that they're getting ready to move, that would be on the substantially on your property, or is that on their property?
The what?
The shed that they're moving to build this?
Yeah, they're on my property,
Okay,
but they're moving them.
Yeah.
okay. But you're okay with that then, right?
Yes, as long as they're moving them, yes.
Okay.
Sounds like a win-win.
Yep.
And I'm sure they will. These are fine people, I believe.
Good,
That's good.
good.
You always hunt for those to be a neighbor.
We need good neighbors.
Any other questions, gentlemen? No? Thank you, sir. Is it Shirley?
Yes.
Would you like to speak? No, okay, thank you. Thank you, all right. So we have no one else signed up to speak on behalf of or in opposition to or just in general on this application. This is a request for a development standard variance. Again, the applicant has to meet several findings of facts. The first statement is describe the proposed use of the property, type of use, hours of operations, access, necessary construction, and the applicant has written a proposed use variance due to the fact that the septic field, see photo, limits the location of a 30 by 40 pole barn. We are asking for a 7-foot side setback use as opposed to a 15-foot minimum. There is no other choice on the location on this property. The 2 yard barns located in the picture are being removed, and the pole barn will replace their use along with residential storage of vehicles and assorted objects. There will not be any commercial use of this structure on the property. Under 2.1, the statement is the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and writes, the approved will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. This is true. The only use for the pole barn is for storage of personal vehicles and other objects, i.e. trailers, ATVs, etc. The next statement is the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. And the applicant again states this is true. There will be no commercial or excessive noise coming from the pole barn that would negatively affect our neighbors. Under 2.3, the statement is the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The applicant again indicates this is true and states that we are not allowed the 7-foot setback. We have no place else to locate the pole barn. For the technical reports, the surveyor reviewed and made no comment. The health department states they have no objections to the proposed variance. And for the staff report on this the staff's recommendation, they've written the following. The first finding of facts asks if the reduced setback will have a negative impact on the public health and general welfare. Private detached garages are commonplace in residential areas and will have no adverse impact on the public's general welfare. The second finding of fact asks if the approval will adversely affect the neighbor's property values. Again, this is a residential use in an area of very low density. The petitioner will still have sufficient room to maintain the structure without encroaching on the neighbor's property. The third finding asks, what practical difficulty exists that makes approving the variance necessary? In this case, the location of the septic system creates the practical difficulty because it limits where the garage can be built. But even with a setback reduced to 7 feet, there will still be about 80 feet between the detached garage and the neighbor's house. For these reasons, staff supports the petitioner's request to reduce the side yard setback to 7 feet. So gentlemen, open for discussion?
Sounds to me like it's pretty logical and common sense,
Anything wrong with it?
No.
and the neighbors don't care, even better.
Anything wrong with it at all?
Yeah, I agree, and Mr. and Mrs. Monday, thanks for coming in and voicing your opinion, and in this case, supporting your neighbors on this. It's an area where there's a lot of buildings of a similar nature, and haven't heard any negative outcomes from
No.
that. I support this as well. Other discussion? Open for a motion, if not.
I would move that we approve petition D-22-12 for an development standard to reduce the side set yard for detached garage to 7 feet for property located at 8221 McWhorter Road, Green Township. The motion is made for reasons stated in the following finding of facts. 2.1, it is true. The approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because, and I have that down as B, the reason stated in the staff report. In 2.2, it is true that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because, B, the reason stated in the staff report. And on 2.3, it is true that the strict application in terms of UDO will constitute unnecessary hardship applied to the property which the variance is sought because, B, the reason stated in the staff report.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve with no conditions. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Gordon seconds. Thank you. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye.
Aye.
It's approved. Thank you, folks. All right. Next item on the agenda this evening is staff reports. Mr. Peden, do we have a BZA attorney's report this evening? Thank you. Ms. Parker, do we have a plan director report this evening? Thank you. So our next meeting is July 25th, 2022. Gentlemen, any other business?
I have none.
For a motion to adjourn?
Move that we adjourn.
Second? Thank you. All in favor, raise your right hand, say aye. Aye, we're adjourned. Thank you all.
I guess we'll have these next week. I guess we'll have these next week. It's nice to have good neighbors, isn't it? Thank you, folks, for coming in.
I was sat down there and the thought crossed my mind. All four of you'd make great politicians because you love to talk.